The following lesson is linked to Learning Outcome 2, Reading and Viewing. It addresses the assessment standard that requires learners to demonstrate various reading and viewing strategies for comprehension and appreciation. Learners should be able to read or view according to purpose and task. They should also be able to summarize main and supporting ideas in point form, sentences, and/or paragraphs. This lesson is also linked to Learning Outcome 1, Speaking and Listening. This assessment standard requires learners to demonstrate knowledge of different forms of oral communication for social purposes. Learners should be able to learn about and share ideas and concepts, comment on experiences, defend a position, make an unprepared response, read aloud, as well as tell a story.
Hello. In this block, we've been looking at the way summaries can help us in different situations in our lives. We have looked at study skills and mind maps, skimming and scanning, point form and selective summaries, and formal summaries or précis. We've shown how some of these skills help us to cope with different aspects of our everyday lives. Now, I want to show you how formal summaries can be used outside of the classroom or examination venues. Other than in a school situation, where could we possibly use the skills involved in summarizing? At some stage in your life, you may be asked to report on a conference you have attended, course material you have read, or an experience you have had which could be interesting to others. Unless you have mastered the skill of presenting a formal summary, you will not cope with this request. We've already discussed the skills required to manage this task. They were understanding what we read or hear, selecting the important points, and expressing these points in our own words. Let's now look at an example to see how these skills could be used in order to make a presentation on something you have experienced. Imagine that as a responsible member of your grade, you have been allowed to attend the opening of Parliament. On your return to school, your principal asks you to address the school and relate what you witnessed. What you would present would be a formal summary. A formal summary is the shortened version of a text. It contains the essential points of the original. You wouldn't be writing your summary down, but it would still need to be in full sentences. You can't just stand up and read out your points or your notes. That wouldn't be a very good presentation. So what approach could we use? Step 1. Take notes. If you took notes while you were in Parliament, you would have accurate information to refer to when writing your summary. Don't rely on your memory. Step 2. Study your notes carefully. When you're preparing your speech, look closely at the notes you prepared while you were in Parliament. If you don't understand your notes, you'll find it very difficult to relay that information to your schoolmates. Step 3. Select appropriate information. If you've thought carefully about your task, you'll know that you need to include important information only. Remember how we talked about looking for the bones of the article? Well, in this case, you're looking for the key ideas in the speeches. Your fellow learners want to know the bare facts and are not interested in the inessential details. If a member of Parliament included irrelevant information as part of their discussion, you wouldn't include that in your presentation. Step 4. Compile the information in your own words. Now jot down in your own words the most important points. Remember, you'll be speaking to your friends and fellow schoolmates, so you need to keep the information relevant and interesting to them. Now that you've got your speech written down, what shall we do next? Step 5. Check the contents. You can check the accuracy of your speech by asking a friend to read through it and getting them to say what they think it's about. Another way of checking the accuracy is to draw up a mind map. Now you're almost ready to present your speech, but first you must learn your speech. If you made a mind map, as discussed earlier, you could use this for speech cues. If you've learned what the key areas are that you're going to be talking about and the order in which they should come, you'll be able to deliver a coherent, logical speech. And finally, the last step, present your speech. If you have followed these steps, you should find that you can present your speech to your schoolmates and they will find it interesting and enjoyable. Although in this case the summary was in the form of a speech, you should find that it contains all the elements of a good summary that we have discussed earlier. Where possible, replace a phrase with a single word. Do not include repetitions, examples, and illustrations. Use your own words as far as possible. You'll find in life that a great deal of information is relayed quickly. With increasing use of email, you may have to respond to a meeting that you've attended very quickly and accurately. The skills you have learned in summarizing will help you to do this. Over-complicating information detracts from the meaning of the message. Try to say what you want to say as clearly as you can. Good communication skills are an essential aspect of successful summaries. Well, it's all about summarizing, so I'll keep it short. Practice your new skills and think intelligently. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.